What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So I'm coming to you guys today with my WWE Clash in Paris predictions. Now, Clash in Paris is this Sunday. Yes, you heard it here again. It's going to be on Sunday instead of the usually WWE PLE spot with it being on Saturday. And this also marks the final WWE PLE that will appear on Peacock, because as going forward, starting with WrestlePalooza next month, we do have WWE WrestlePalooza taking place on ESPN, which will be the new home of WWE PLEs going forward. So this almost kind of serves as like an end of an era transitioning into a new era of WWE PLEs and stuff like that. So we're gonna get into it with the WWE matches that will be taking place at Clash in Paris this weekend. At the time of recording this video, there's only 5 matches confirmed. This always can end up changing, especially we still have one more episode of SmackDown, so we could see something potentially be made, like something like the Women's Championship over there. We were going to get a Women's World Title match being on Clash, but that has been scrapped and probably will be taking place at WrestlePalooza, because next week we'll figure out what's going to happen with the women's world title, and as far as Stephanie McMahon and who's going to be challenging her and who's going to pretty much become the new women's world champion. But we're going to get into it with the matches that we do have confirmed. Also, comment down below, let me know your predictions for WWE Clash in Paris as well. But we're going to get into it with the first match, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. We have the OTC 1 against Bronson Reed. We have literally the Tribal Chief versus the Tribal Thief. Pretty much, we've seen these two go back and forth over numerous weeks. The whole story of this is pretty much Bronson Reed has been taking Roman Reigns' shoes. Roman Reigns wants to get his pound of flesh. And we're going to see these two behemoths clash in Paris, none under, and stuff like that this weekend. But who do I think is gonna win? I do think Roman Reigns is going to win this, but is it the prediction that I want? No, the prediction I want to see is Bronson Reed, because for me personally, Bronson Reed needs this win a lot more than Roman Reigns does. Bronson Reed is in the vision, right? If you look at the entire landscape of how that the vision is, he seems a little bit on the weaker end of things when it comes down to it, because we already know Braun Breaker is a former Intercontinental Champion, NXT champion. He's been the standout, in my personal opinion, of the vision and stuff like that. He has a fantastic spear. We have Seth Rollins, who's pretty much done everything that there is to do within the WWE, and he's the current world champion. He's going to have a match, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But it seems like Bronson Reed, yes, he's a former NXT North America champion, but a lot of people won't know that just because people probably watching NXT back then. So he needs something to really establish him and establish his character and his presence within the vision. And I think a win like this over a Roman Reigns makes all the sense in the world, because you got to think Roman Reigns is going to be taking some time off after this. Bronson Reed will still be there week after week, even on Monday. He needs this win. So, you know what? After talking about it, I'm going to go Bronson Reed in this. I might be wrong, but I'm going to go Bronson Reed to get the upset over Roman Reigns, because like I said, Bronson Reed needs this win more. Now, the next match we're going to be talking about is a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Rusev. Now, these two have been having some banger of matches, no pun intended. But I do think this match has potential to steal the show, in my personal opinion, because I think the chemistry that Sheamus and Rusev have is really, really good. I'm all for this. Now, my thing is this, right? Why does this feel like almost like the storyline that we got back in 2016 between Sheamus and Cesaro, aka Claudio Castagnoli, if you guys watch AEW? But this seems like they're kind of telling that story again. And I feel like we could be telling that story. Maybe Sheamus and Rusev are going to continue having more matches after this, where they end up having mutual respect for each other in the end of all of this, and they become a tag team. And this will be a great tag team to add to your Raw tag team division, because let's be honest, they need a lot of tag team. They need some help. They need some attention. They need some love, because right now it is not looking good for your Raw tag team division. So who do I think is going to win this match? I do think this is going to be a banger match, don't get me wrong, but who do I think is going to win? I'm going to go Sheamus. I think that might be I could probably see Sheamus winning, but I would not be surprised if Rusev were to win this either. I think both of these guys can desperately use a win. I mean, Rusev just came back to WWE, so you want to establish him. You want to continue making him feel like a dominant presence on Raw. So I think him having a win over Sheamus would be very interesting to see. But I think Sheamus is going to be winning this, and then maybe they could add a stipulation to whoever wins this gets a future Intercontinental Championship later in this feud and stuff like that. So we'll see if that does come to fruition. But I'm gonna go Sheamus to get the W over Rusev here. Now, the next match is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is the only women's match that we do have on this show. We have Becky Lynch defending against Nikki Bella. Now, let me be honest with you. At first, I did not like this feud at all, but let me kind of, you know, step away for a little bit. I want to say this. Becky Lynch has been doing some of her best work as Intercontinental Champion. She's been doing some amazing stellar work from a character standpoint, from in the ring. I think her theme song is kind of maybe hit or miss, but I think everything else, I think I am enjoying. Honestly, this might be a hot take, and I know Santi said this, but I stand this. Becky Lynch's current gimmick right now is better than the Man of 2019. Now, is it as over as it was with Becky Lynch in 2018? No, but as far as a character, yes. As from a character standpoint and everything that she's been doing, absolutely. She has rejuvenated her career by being Intercontinental Champion, proving that she's a true workhorse of the women's division. And I like how they've been allowing Becky Lynch to use this Intercontinental Championship to help other people who step up against her become better and get opportunities. I think this is a good thing for her to do, a good spot for her as well. So I do expect this match to be decent. I'm not really expecting too much from this. We'll see how this match does end up playing out, of course. But I do think Becky Lynch is going to retain this. I don't see Nikki Bella winning this, especially after you've seen Monday Night Raw this week. We've seen Nikki Bella hold up the Intercontinental Championship, and we know WWE lore, if you hold the championship before a PLE, you are not winning. So I have to use that as an excuse here. Becky Lynch is retaining the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We'll see who else steps up against Becky Lynch. I'm hoping and praying that the next person that steps up against Becky is a potential someone like maybe a Bayley, maybe a Stephanie McCool. I think those two can be really, really great matches, especially Stephanie, because I think Stephanie needs an opportunity at the Women's Intercontinental Championship to establish herself as being the next woman up, not really rushing her to the World Championship scene or anything like that. But I think this will be a great spot for Stephanie McCool. And speaking of Stephanie, like I said earlier in the video, she was supposed to have a match with Naomi, but Naomi is going to be stepping away because she announced her pregnancy. So she's had to relinquish the Women's World Championship. We found it on Raw, where pretty much that match that we thought we were going to get potentially with someone else is not going to happen at Clash in Paris. It might happen at WrestlePalooza, or we'll get some type of answers come Monday, hopefully. But we'll see. But I do have Becky Lynch retaining the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The next match is John Cena versus Logan Paul. I think Logan is probably going to win this. I want to see John Cena win. I really do. But I feel like they're going to give it to Logan. The reason why is because if you look at numerous times where we've seen like John Cena in situations where it was either with Austin Theory or Solo Sikoa and now Logan Paul, what happens a lot of the times is this. If he buries that person on the microphone, that person that gets buried on the microphone ends up beating John Cena at the show. We've seen it with Austin Theory. We've seen it with Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel. And now we're probably going to see it again with Logan Paul. And you know this is going to fit his character very, very well for the simple fact that he's going to be coming on SmackDown or Raw, wherever he's going to be at. And he's going to be gloating about the fact that he beat John Cena. He's going to be doing that. And I think maybe John Cena uses this opportunity to leave, and this is going to segue into his feud with Brock Lesnar, because I do think Brock Lesnar is going to get involved in this match, and then John Cena is going to lose, therefore allowing Logan Paul the victory here. So I do think it's not going to be a clean victory for Logan, but I do think it's going to be some shenanigans, and I do expect potentially Brock Lesnar to make his presence felt. And then Logan Paul gets the win. And then from there, we segue into Brock Lesnar and John Cena at WrestlePalooza, which I do think that match is going to happen there. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. And then the final match of this show is a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Seth Rollins defending against CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight. Now, first off, let me get this off my chest. They have been making LA Knight look like a joke in this feud. And I'm an LA Knight fan. I do like LA Knight, but they have been making this man look like a joke. He lost to Braun Breaker on Raw, only to get literally super kicked and beat up a little bit, somewhat, with CM Punk and then Jey Uso. You make this man look like a buffoon. complete joke. So it's like and if you look at the current lineup here, all Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Jey Uso are all former world champions in the WWE. LNA is still on the cusp of trying to become the world champion, and they're not doing him any favors, or at least the fans any favors, for those who want to see him win when they keep making him look like a joke like that. You can't buy into somebody being a world champion when you're constantly making them look like buffoons every single time you put them on television. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't. I don't. He should be literally seen as a threat to the world championship. But no, they're making him look like an idiot. I don't know why WWE are booking this man that way. The fact that, and I even go back to what I said with Money in the Bank, they should have had him win Money in the Bank. There was no need for Seth Rollins to win this to give him a world championship. It's Seth Rollins we're talking about. He does not need a briefcase to ensure him becoming a world champion. Again, granted, the cash in itself, it was great. It was great. I loved it. But still, he did not need the briefcase to get him to the world championship. You could have used that opportunity to give LA Knight that boost that he desperately needed to catapult himself to that next level, to compete for the world championship, to cash in for a world title. But they went with Punk, which was a great match. They end up having Seth Rollins cash in, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna. I have to get that off my chest. But they've been making this man look like a joke for no reason. Jey Uso, I don't think is win, but they're doing something interesting with him. I was even saying it on my stream that I did say this might be the planting of the seeds of maybe him becoming maybe a heel or becoming more aggressive. And we were starting to see a little bit of that. We had a pep talk between him and Roman Reigns saying you need to stop helping everybody and start being in it for yourself. And I think that's going to resonate with Jey. I don't think he's going to win, but I do think we're going to probably see some character development throughout this match and everything like that. So hopefully we'll get at the very least that. And then we got Punk, who just won the World Championship at none other than SummerSlam, defeating Gunther, only to get cashed in on by Seth Rollins when it was all said and done on night one of SummerSlam, and he lost his championship within 5 minutes or something like that. But, hey, who do I think is going to win this? I think it's Seth Rollins is going to win this. I think they always do this when they have their champions. They always put them in positions where it's like, quote-unquote, they can get pinned. But no, they never do get pinned, and that's just been a thing for years and years now. Like, they don't. I would love to see WWE pull the trigger and actually pull up a shocking title change, but I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think that's going to happen. But I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. But we will see how that ends up playing out. Like I said, comment down below, you guys. What are your predictions for Clash in Paris this weekend? I want to get your thoughts and opinions on that. Super kick that like button, helps my channel get pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing over here on YouTube. Superman punch the post notification bell, and spear the subscribe button. Takes 3 seconds out of your day to those 3 things for me. Helps in the progression of my channel as well. But with that being said, hope it has a great day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.